Millions of people all over the world are stateless. With no country to recognize them as citizens, it is as if they do not exist. Denied a nationality, stateless people are unable to have birth certificates or passports to prove their identity, which would in turn unlock access to basic rights and services. After the Second World War, two important instruments of international law regarding statelessness were established, offering a lifeline to stateless persons across the globe. The 1954 Convention relating to the status of stateless persons defines a stateless person and provides international standards to ensure their access to fundamental rights and freedoms without discrimination. Meanwhile, the 1961 Convention on the Reduction of Statelessness sets out rules for the conferral and non-withdrawal of citizenship in order to prevent new cases of statelessness.
By acceding to the 1961 Convention, the Philippines solidified its status as one of the leading advocates on statelessness issues.
Accession to the Statelessness Conventions paved the way for the Philippines to address the gaps and introduce efforts to address situations of stateless persons and populations at risk of statelessness.
When the Philippines concluded its accession process to the 1961 Convention in 2008, we did not start from scratch. We were already adding on to existing foundations built through years, even decades, of dedication from Philippine agencies and our partners from the United Nations and civil society organizations.
On behalf of UNHCR, we would like to express our appreciation and congratulations to the Philippine government for achieving this milestone of being the first and only state in Southeast Asia to have acceded to both the 1954 Convention relating to stateless persons and the 1961 Convention on the Reduction of Statelessness. This important milestone will allow stateless people to have the normative framework that would guide the state to protect them. In 2010, UNHCR worked with the government of the Philippines to promote and develop standards and operational responses to address the situation of stateless persons and populations at risk of statelessness. Through a series of interagency roundtable discussions held from 2010 to 2011, the state was able to identify populations at risk of statelessness in the country, namely unregistered children in the context of forced displacement due to armed conflict, foundlings, children of Filipino descent in migratory settings, persons of Indonesian descent residing in southern Mindanao, and the Sama Pajau population, with persons of Japanese descent later being added in 2021. In 2022, with the Foundling Protection and Recognition Law in place, the foundlings were delisted, leaving the 5 populations to be at risk. The state has since gained headway, making and fulfilling commitments made under the 2019 High-Level Segment on Statelessness and the Global Refugee Forum, and the more recent Global Refugee Forum in 2023.
In the United Nations and in the multilateral space, the Philippines is making its voice heard that middle countries such as the Philippines can make a difference in the global aspiration to end statelessness.
Significant efforts have also been undertaken to better understand and map out efforts to address statelessness, including the presumption of Philippine citizenship for foundlings and establishing procedures to acquire, reacquire, or retain Philippine citizenship for those who are stateless or at risk of statelessness, and integrating the statelessness conventions in national policies and laws. Moving ahead, I encourage the Philippine government as well as the civil society that comprises the network on protecting stateless people to have a look at the provisions that are yet to be incorporated in the domestic laws and policies of the country. And now, as the state state reaffirms its commitment through continued implementation of its National Action Plan to end statelessness beyond 2024, the Philippines is bringing its experience of championing the rights of stateless populations and populations at risk of statelessness as it looks forward to a future where statelessness is no longer a concern and everyone is able to say, I belong.